and as he rode along he said to himself, "Yes, she is beautiful, and more than beautiful enough for me, but I also vowed that she whom I marry must be as clever, or nearly as clever, as I am, and that, of course, she cannot be." He marked well where the little cottage stood, and soon he reached a road he knew well, for the wild wood lay on the very border of his own lands. He rode straight home to his father's castle, and told him he had not yet found anyone who could be considered his equal. The old king was much vexed on hearing this, but he was so certain of his son's exceeding cleverness that he had no doubt matters were exactly as the prince represented. He had but one wish, to see his son married before closing his eyes forever, and he had such faith in his son that he knew the prince's choice of a wife would be a wise one. So now the prince was at home once more, surrounded by all the good things imaginable, and yet he knew not one moment's certainty. Dainty food failed to tempt his appetite, no sweet sleep came to him on his downy couch. His thoughts were always with the fair young maiden who dwelt in the wild wood. He thought of her early and late, and whether he would or not. At last he said to himself, "There must be an end of this." He called to mind his vow that the loveliest and cleverest girl should be his bride, and so, in order to be rid of all thought of her, he determined to convince himself that although the peasant's daughter might be beautiful enough, she was far from being clever enough for him. So he wrote a letter to her, enclosing 2 skeins of silk, and bidding her weave for him with them a pair of bed curtains. He sent off a royal courier at once, bidding him bring back an immediate answer. The messenger returned the same evening with a letter from the woodland maiden, and in the letter lay 2 splinters of wood. The maiden had written that if out of these bits of wood he would make her a loom, she would weave him the curtains he had ordered. After this the prince could no longer doubt that she was quite as clever as he was, and now he felt bound to perform the vow that he had made, which was just what he most wished to do. So he rode forth with all his royal train to the cottage in the wild wood, and he told the old people that he had come to woo their daughter for his bride, if she were willing. And she was willing. The old folk were very downhearted at parting from their child, but they did not wish to stand in the way of her happiness, so they gave their consent. Then the court ladies clad the bride in scarlet and silk attire, and adorned her with gold and jewels. And she had ladies in waiting, and coaches and carriages, and all sorts of splendour, and the wedding was celebrated with joy and great magnificence. End of The Clever Prince. Recorded by Rachel Trishka.